Hi everybody, welcome back. Yay! We're here. We made it. Oh my goodness gracious. Yeah, remember everybody? I said, what was it, last week? I think maybe the week before. I don't remember. I don't know if it's going to be on Tuesdays or Thursdays, but I'm going to try and get here once every week, hopefully twice, but it should be at least once. And if we can't make it at all, I will let you know in advance because that'll be like because of a vacation or HSN or something like that. But yeah, so this week we're here on Thursday, and I'm so happy to see you guys here. Yay! It always feels, like when we're not here for, a time or two, it always feels like it's been so long. So I've missed everybody, but we have been very, very busy, I assure you, because we have so much going on. We actually got a big shipment in for HSN today. It's 6 gigantic pallets. They're actually taller than I am, which isn't hard to, I'm not very tall, but they're like way over my head. They're really, really big. And that stuff is all for August. It's part of the August show. But we have a July show coming up. That's going to be on July 13th with HSN. So stay tuned because next week, I was just telling Alan, next week we're going to be doing some sneak peeks of what we've got coming up on the July show. So that's going to be pretty exciting. And so stay tuned for that. I don't know if it's going to be Tuesday or Thursday yet, but I will put out the email. So always check your email. The email goes out an hour before we go live. So it'll go out at 6 p.m. Eastern time. And that will be your announcement to let you know that we're going to be going live. If you don't get our emails, then you want to make sure and go to our homepage of our website, LDRScreative.com. And at the very bottom, you want to sign up for daily inspiration, not for the newsletter, but for daily inspiration. If you are signed up for that already and for some reason you're not getting the emails, then please let us know. Send a message to us at customer service at LDRScreative.com. Send us your email address so we can check it and we can make sure that you will start getting your emails once again. So anyway, all that said, all that done, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am so happy to be back. I was so excited. We announced our summer collection, and so the big thing for me was to really kind of start to dig my hands in there, and I really wanted to play with the summer collection. So the very, very first stamp set that I wanted to work with, because I have Alan and I we've got bird feeders out. I love the birds. We have them year round, but we feed them, and so I really wanted to have a birdhouse in this collection. I thought that would just be fantastic. And then of course we had to have a stamp set that went with it and some little character friends of little birds and stuff. So that's what I decided to play with today. And then per usual, I like to mix the new stuff with the things that I already have in my stash. I think it's really important that we mix and match and always keep some of the older things new again, because who wants to invest in a stamp set and use it one time? Same thing with your dies. We try and put products out that you can use year after year after year, and it makes it all brand new again when you can mix and match it with the things that are a little more current, a little more recent. And so that was something I wanted to do today too. So I have a whole stack of things here, product that I worked with. Check this out. This is my whole stack of stuff. Okay, it's got older stuff in it, and it's got some of the new stuff in it. And we're gonna see what I come up with. I was playing around a little bit I'll show you. It was kind of like paper piecing I started off with, and it ended up being a little bit different. So we're going to dive in. We're going to jump in. I'm going to kind of show you where things landed, and hopefully it's all going to come together. I've kind of got all these pieces, and I got to see how it's all going to fit. So, and before I forget, make sure you put a comment or something out there, because we do a giveaway at the end, and the only way that we know you're here is if you leave a comment. So it can be a simple hello, it can be a question, you can ask us just about anything. I will do my best to answer. And yeah, so that's it. We only know you're here if you leave some sort of a comment. I also love to see who's here and from where. So that's always fun. So give us a shout out, hey, I'm Kathy and I'm here from Arizona. That is that's always fun. Arizona, Alan's favorite state, apparently. A little too hot for me, but anyway. All right, Alan, you want to switch the camera to camera 2 and we'll get rolling? Okay. So this is the Birdhouse stamp set that I was talking about that I was just dying to use. And this was something that was really it was just really important for me to have in this summer collection because I love the birds and I love that they have a little house. Why wouldn't they have a little house? So I pulled that, and it does have coordinating dies. And so, of course, if I'm going to work with the Birdhouse, oops, I've also got to work with the Garden Friends because we have these beautiful, sweet little birds in here, and that's their home. They also have little frog friends, so I grabbed those as well. And then also from the new collection, I grabbed the Painted Garden. We're going to see if we can make this work. This is our 4x6 double-sided paper, 4x6, I'm sorry, 4x9. It is slimline size, double-sided. And then I think I'm going to actually use a sentiment from the Garden's Edge Slimline. Now, you know, our little Garden Friends stamp set does have a lot of sentiments in it, but I wanted a bigger sentiment on it, and I really wanted something that was going to be in script. And I just love the font that is in this Garden Edge Slimline. So we're going to see if any of these are going to fit. These are smaller, they might fit better, and they're also super cute. These are a little more whimsical, like can't tell you how much you mean to me. You are unforgettable, like frog-gettable. And then what'll I do without you? So these are super, super cute, very whimsical. These are a little more elegant. So we're gonna see if I can make one of these fit. Some of the other products from my stash that I grabbed, I actually grabbed this paper pack. This is our Happy Fall paper pack. I don't know how much of this we have in the store, but this we still have. We have a good number of this. Okay. This is a wonderful fall paper pack, and I actually started out thinking that I was going to work with this. It has like a wood, looks like wood planks. I thought I would use that one because I want to use this for the Birdhouse. But then I ended up using this little plaid because in the paper pack that I have in studio here, I didn't have any more of that wood piece. So I thought, well, I'm going to try and make that one work. But this is a super, super cute one for fall. I know we're in summer, but it is just adorable. I love it. One of my favorites that we've done. I also grabbed the Country Fence pocket die. I'm not now pocket, we have two fence dies. This one is the pocket die. It's much smaller, and then we have the larger one that's more for like the regular size characters, stamp characters that we have. And this one would be for the pocket pails. However, since I'm working with little characters like these little birds and the little frogs, even though they're not pocket sized, I thought that it would be really, really cute to have a fence that was actually smaller than them. So that's why I grabbed this one. In the grass, I'm actually going to be using the In the Grass die as well. I think I might use my rainy day stencil. We're going to see. This is what it looks like on the back. This is one of those stencils where we have, you know, multiple sections. You can create a whole scene on it. So we have like those billowing clouds, and then we have the clouds that are more defined, the raindrops, and then the grass at the bottom. So you can do a whole scene with those. And then I also pulled my Floral Foliage Slimline die set because I wanted this outer die here. Looks like mine's moved in my packaging, but oh, there we go. Anyway, I wanted this outer die because it has those little, they look like little cross stitch marks on the outer edge. So I wanted this to cut my my card topper, and I wanted that little cross stitch. So that's why I grabbed this. So that's everything that I'm going to try and use. We're going to see if we can get this done without an overwhelming amount of stuff on this card. So we'll see. I do have plans. We'll see if it works out. That's always the challenge, isn't it? All right, so here's a lot of my stuff. You just saw me kind of toss a whole bunch of things forward there. Let me empty out my little goodie bag and show you what I've got so far. So far, this is my card topper. This is what everything's going to go on. Alan, you want to go to the next, change the view? Thank you. So this is my card topper. You can see this is where I use that Slimline. It has that beautiful little cross stitch there. I have just a regular white card base here. I actually cut, now our Slimline dies, the largest die, will cut 8 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I wanted to have a little frame around it, so I actually cut my card base. I used just a piece of cardstock that's 8.5 by 11, and I left that 8.5, so that gives me an extra 1/4 inch in the length there. And then I cut it again at 7 inches and scored it at 3.5. So when I fold that, I end up with 8.5 by 3.5. So I have an extra 1/4 of an inch, and that gives me a little bit of a frame or a border around my card topper. And I just think that's really pretty. It's just a little extra something something, and that's going to allow me to sneak some pattern paper in there as well and get a little bit of a frame around it that I think is going to be really pretty. So I want to show you what I created with this is that paper I told you I had from the Happy Fall. It's this little plaid, and you can see where I worked with it here. This is what I cut from it. I cut this little birdhouse. I didn't feel like coloring all the wood on the birdhouse, and I thought it would be really fun and really whimsical to have a little birdhouse that had texture. So this is like my star of the show. I think this is really pretty. And I want to show you how I did it because it was really easy to do, and I think it really packs a lot of punch. I think it's just gorgeous, actually. So I'm going to show you how I did that. That's kind of the crafting that we're going to do. Everything else I've already got. I stamped characters, die cut a whole bunch of them, and all that good stuff. But I'm going to show you how I did this. So, and let me go back out to camera 2. All right, so I've got my stamping platform here. You know what I don't have? Oh, Alan, can you grab my stampendable over here? I can't reach that. Right there. Thank you. Okay. So I've got my stamping platform, and I'm going to start with my birdhouse stamp. All of our stamps are photopolymer, so you're going to have excellent stamping, excellent quality with them. They're, it's a really good thickness. They're really, really beautiful. So I'm going to go ahead and position this. I'm going to leave it a little bit from the edge because I want to make sure I have room for my die to fit around it and to tape my die down. All right, so I decided I didn't want to stamp this in a really harsh black. Because I kind of want the lines to kind of disappear a little bit. So I ended up stamping it in a beautiful brown. And the brown I chose is coffee bean. It's an absolutely gorgeous, gorgeous brown. This is our hybrid ink, which has, your mixed properties. So you can use it with really any of your stamping needs. So I'm going to go ahead and get this inked up and get this little birdhouse stamped. Got my stampendable to help me get a really good impression. It's really nice. You don't have to apply a lot of pressure. I do like to kind of go around it. There we go. There is our beautiful, beautiful little house. I'm going to do this one more time. The great thing about the hybrid inks is you can layer the color. So if I do a second layer with this, it's going to be darker. It's stamped beautifully. I had a gorgeous impression, but the brown on the brown paper doesn't stand out very well. So now you can see. Alan, you want to zoom into that? Oh, you know what I don't have? I don't have my little towel to wipe my stamp. Uh-oh. Well, it's not gonna match. Uh-oh, Sketty-o. It's right there, honey. Oh. Right there. That's yeah, can you get that in some water? Yes, I was negligent. No, I forgot about it. So I'm actually going to leave my stamp here for right now because I forgot to get my towel prepped and ready to clean, and I don't want to get my hands all inky. I just don't feel like it today. So here we have our little house is all stamped. It's all ready to go. And so now I'm going to grab my dies. Now the birdhouse dies, this is not a pocket pail die set. But you can use this with the pocket pails. The pocket pails are going to fit perfectly in here. You can also use it with the regular size characters. You got it? Okay, good. So here I'm going to go ahead and clean this really quickly then, just so I can put it away. Just cleaning up my stamp. There's nothing worse than losing, misplacing your stamps. What? What, Alan?
Oh, I should tell you.
What's wrong?
Scrapbook.com sold 1,000 stampendables in one day.
What? Are you kidding me?
No.
Did you guys hear him? He just said that scrapbook.com just sold out of 1,000 of our stampendables in one day.
Sold out yet, but we sold 1,000 in one day.
Oh, they're not sold out yet, but they sold 1,000 of them. And oh my goodness. Wow. I'll tell you, we're shipping those things constantly. We just got more stock in of the stampendables, and we are almost out. Again, our next stock I think is coming in August. Oy oy oy. Okay, so we're gonna now move on to the dies. If you don't have one of these yet, there's a lot of stores that have these. There's tons of retail stores. We have retail stores on our website listed there, and they go fast, and they go fast because let me tell you about it. If you're new here. It's such a simple and easy little tool. It's incredibly lightweight, as you can see. It's wonderful to help you get a really good even impression on when you're stamping. So you've got your stamp platform, whatever kinds you use, and you close the lid and you go to stamp and you're pressing like this. And for me, my hands tire very easily. I have arthritis in my hands. But even if you don't, when you're pressing like this, you can see there's a lot of spaces in here that you're not pressing. So you go like this and you're only pressing in certain areas. When you have your stampendable tool, you can use it to apply even pressure just like this all across your entire stamping platform, and you're not going to be missing a lot of spots. So the other great thing about it is you can hold it one of two ways. So if you have smaller hands, or if it's just more comfortable for you, you can hold it by the handle. If you want to hold it, by the outer edge, depending on the size of your hand, whether your hand is tired or if your grip is, better when it's smaller, or if your grip is better when it's wider, you have options there. I use it both ways. It depends on how my hand feels. So it's nice that it gives you options. The other great thing, this is really the magic of it. Let me move this off here. The magic of it really is that we've got a 1/4 inch, it's a firm felted pad on the bottom of it. It's not a super, super thin little pad. It's a really good 1/4 inch pad that's gonna, it's gonna hold up, it's gonna stand the test of time, and it's gonna help transfer that pressure from your hand through to your stamping platform. So the other great thing is it retails at $7.99. So I mean, it's not $15, it's not 20, it's not 25 or 30. It's literally $8. So it's an easy tool to get. We priced it so that it was easy for everybody to get. We wanted to have something that everybody could easily have access to, no matter what your budget is. So it is a fantastic tool. So that is my spiel. Sue is saying, won't the Birdhouse be too big for a Slimline? Well, I'm making a Slimline card today, so we'll see. We shall see. I'm going to say I don't think it is, but we'll see. Well, Alan's asking, have you tested it? Well, we will see. Let's hope it's not, because I have it planned for a Slimline.
Will said you normally forget the sentiment, not the cleaning towel.
This is true. Will, you are absolutely correct. Correctamundo. All right, so Will said I usually forget the sentiment, not the cleaning towel. Hello, Will. How are you? Okay, so I'm going to line up the outer die first. Notice this die is in two. Did I line that up right? No, I have it off the edge there. The die is in two pieces, so I can cut just the outer, frame around the birdhouse if I want, and leave everything intact. Works beautifully. I also have another option with this other little die here. Okay, see that one? This one is going to cut the door and the windows. It's going to cut the door so that it opens only on 3 sides, so the door will open and close. It cuts out all the little window panes, and then it cuts the little circle out of the little access hole that's right above the little perch there for the birds to access, because it's a house. That's why we have a door that opens, but it is a birdhouse, so if they want to be old-fashioned and traditional, they can go through the hole in the top there on the perch instead. Old school entry, or if they want to be modern, they can use the door. That's how I look at it. All right, so I'm going to line this up. You can see right through these dies, so it makes it really easy to line things up. I am going to put, you know, enough tape on there to make some of you yell at me. Because I like to make sure it all stays in place. This tape is not very strong, and I just don't want it to fail me. I want everything to stay in place. I'm probably going to put one more piece on there too, because Alan's got to walk this across the room for me. He hasn't heard me yet, so he hasn't gotten up. But he's got to walk this across the room for me and to run this through. It looks like everything's going to hold. So, all right, Misto Hunt. Do me a favor, though, please.
Don't move it.
Press right there and hold there when you send it through. That'll make sure that the die doesn't move. So we'll see how well Mr. Hunt follows instructions.
Oh, man.
What did you just do? He says, oh, man. You know what? Here's one thing I will tell you about my husband. I have known him. How long have we been together? Forever. 21 years. 21 years we've been married. 21. Why are you laughing at me?
Well, okay. We've been married. Yeah.
Yes, we've been married for 21 years, but we were together for what, 3, maybe 4 years before that? Something like that. I don't even know. Seems like a lifetime.
Yeah, maybe you're right, because I'm 25 years at my job in August.
Okay. So, all right. So we've been together like 24 years, I guess. Yeah. And somehow I haven't aged a bit. Thank you to my hair salon. Anyway, I was going somewhere with this. What was I going to say? Oh, my point is, he has such a dry sense of humor that even after that amount of time, I still cannot tell a lot of the time if he's joking. So, yeah, sometimes I have to ask him. I have to ask him a few times so that I know whether or not I should be angry or if I should just laugh it off. Oh. Sometimes I think his answer depends on the look on my face, too. Oh, boy. We do have fun. All right. So, let me put these things back together here. This is such a beautiful and fun die. I love this die set. Okay. Get everything put away. I think we need some storage pockets and stuff. Do you guys think we need storage things for everything? Here's a question for you. Here's a question for you. Because I have contemplated doing storage pockets and stuff. And I guess I have 2 questions for you. If you were to store your products, here's a couple of our products. And let me zoom out to camera 2 again. Here's a couple of our products. If you were to store these, let's take the stamps first. Do you want to store them with the packaging insert? Or do you just want to store the stamps, you know, with those between the acetate sheets into a pocket? Dies would be separate, because the dies, I'm assuming you would want to pull them off the backer card. If not, we would do them with, you know, size it with the backer card. But the other option, of course, is to put your dies on magnetic sheets. Would you prefer to just get your own magnetic sheets someplace, or would you prefer to, let's say, pay a little more and order your die pockets, storage pockets, with a magnetic sheet in there for your die set? And the reason I'm asking this is because, you know, some of these things they might be different sizes. Some of the sizes might overlap, you know, or would you want to have your, you know, magnetic sheets sold separately? So, you know, for your dies. So if you could give me some feedback on that, I don't care how much you write. I don't care what kind of details you put in. The more detail, the better. But if we were to do some storage options for these, I would want to do this in a way that it would work for you guys. So that's why I'm putting that out there. Okay, back to this. So here is my little house, and notice it cuts ever so perfectly. cuts those little window panes. Alan, you want to go back to camera 3? I can't see that. So it cuts those little window panes out. All right, you can even see the lines. I mean, it's cut so perfectly. It cuts that circle out. It leaves that little bit of an edge there because that little bit of an edge is the little wooden side or wooden edge, you know, as you're looking through into the hole. So that gives you that little bit of depth of the wood. So that's why it doesn't cut that edge out. That's intentional. When you look at the stamp here, all right, see how we have that extra? We've got 2 lines there. We're cutting to that first inner line there and leaving the second one. All right. Also on the back, you can see how it cuts the door. Cuts it on 3 sides, and then that 4th side there is scored. So now I can open this door just like that really easily, and it opens and closes. All right. So the big thing is, how do I go? Let me put this back so it's flat. How do I go from this to this? And so this was kind of my big thing. I was like, wow, okay, let's see if I can use Copic markers. I mean, look at the difference. Look how, I just love that. I think it's just beautiful. So I'm going to show you what I did. And I'm literally doing it with 3 shades of blue. I did this with Copic markers. I'm doing it with 3 shades of blue. Let me get all of my little E's out here. And then I used 2 W's. So if you want to write these down, I'm going to give you all the colors that I used. These are Copic colors. So I have an E30. I'll just call them out because I'm not going to be able to, you're not going to be able to see it very well because it's going to get blurry. Well, actually, I can go like this. Let me go like this. So I've got E30. Let me lay them out. Three, 1. 3, 3. Go like that, maybe straight. Would that be easier to see? 4, 3. 4, 4. Those are all my E's. All right. So E30, 3, 1, 3, 3, 4, 3, and 4, 4. All right. I'll leave those there in case you're still writing. Then I grab W's because a W is a gray, but it's a warm gray, so it has a brown undertone. And I wanted to add shadows to a warm color, which is my E's. My E's are my earth tones, right? Those are earthy colors. So, so I wanted to add shadows to it, and so I chose a warm gray with a brown that has a brown undertone, as opposed to a cool gray that has a blue undertone. So the W means warm. So W1 and W3. These are the colors that I chose to do the browns on this little birdhouse. These are also traditionally the colors that I use anytime I'm doing wood. These are kind of my go-to. The next colors that I used on the house are the blues. So I've got B91, B93, did I? Yeah, I did. And then B34. All right, so those are the B's that I used. So as you're writing these things down, I'm going to start putting my caps back on with the ones that, oops, that you should have written down first. Get the caps back on the right place. It's always fun when you get your caps on wrong. That's why I only do one at a time. Okay, so let me do my W's. Which one is this? W1, W3, B, B, and B. Okay, so I'm going to get started with my house here, and I'm going to start with my E's. And I always like to start light to dark. I do that for 2 reasons. One, it's how I learned. And the other is it really helps me control where the color goes and how my shadows are going to be. I don't start with shadows, I end with shadows. So that's just how I learned. That's how I'm practiced. And so that's just what's comfortable for me. So I'm going to leave a lot of this house as it is. I just want to focus on some of the trim. It's really I want to leave the main part of the house intact, and I'm just going to do some of the trim. So I've got my E30, 30, and I'm just going to come up on the little trim areas, and you can see this color is very light. So I'm just going to give kind of one coat on all of these, all the trim areas that are kind of lifted up, that are raised. I'm not going to do anything with the window right now. I'm also going to go to the porch, but I'm not going to do anything with the frame of the door. I want to leave that because I wanted to bring that door out and make that I want that to be, the frame around the door to be blue. Sorry, I lost my train of thought in the middle of speaking. That only happens when you are over 50. You gotta laugh about it, right? If you don't laugh, you cry. I don't want to cry about it. That's no fun. All right, so I come in here and get those. I'm even going to get this little perch, get a little bit of color on that. So I've kind of defined that, and so far so good. Oh, let me get the little chimney here, a bit of color on that. Okay, so that's E30. Doesn't look much different, but it gives me a foundation. And this is our pattern paper that I'm coloring on. So this is not Nina. This is not a paper that is designed or made for alcohol markers. So I don't want you to think I'm going to be able to do fantastic color blending on this, all right? I'm just literally getting color down. But I'm going to kind of, by selectively putting darks and light in here, all right, I'm going to actually have some darker areas and brighter areas. So I put the first color down, which is E30, that's my highlight. So now I'm starting at the bottom, and I'm just kind of flicking bottom up to the center, towards the center, and then flicking from the top down to the center. And let me get those little areas there. And that is actually, I think I just realized I forgot to get this right here, which is the windowsill. But that's going to give me some areas that are a little bit darker on the outside, and it gives me highlights in the middle. All right, so with my this little perch, I'm going to get the bottom area there. This little area where we have that depth there for that circle. And then I'm going to do the same thing all around, kind of working my way in, keeping the centers a little bit highlighted. This area I'm just going to color in because I don't have a lot of detail, a lot of space there. Now to this little base, the frame. There we go. Just a little bit of color. Oh, I keep forgetting about the chimney. What's wrong with me? A little bit of detail on that chimney. There we go. I'm going to go up a color to E33. I am going to get the door, but I'm going to get the door later. So now I'm going to kind of do the same kind of thing that I just did, only I'm not going to come in as far. But I am going to get that little bit of trim all the way up on the inside there. See that little line that's on the inside there? That is the side of the wood, and that's going to be darker. And then I just want to get the top and the bottom a tiny bit. There we go. Maybe a little bit further there. Bottom of this perch. Bring that around. And now I'm going to get the underside here all the way across. But on the top part, I'm just going to kind of be a little more selective and leave some highlighted areas. Don't worry if you go out of the lines a little bit, it's really not going to matter. Get this corner, kind of show off that corner a bit. There we go. You know, and none of this is perfect. I mean, I'm literally just kind of going through here kind of quickly. There we go. But oops, I forgot this area here. There we go. It's already starting to come together. Now, it looks very kind of, almost looks like we just freshly stained it, right? I'm going to darken that up a little bit now with E43. I love E43. This is where we start to get a little darker brown. And it looks absolutely gorgeous over this kind of caramel color. And I also want to kind of bring that right up against to like where the house meets that porch. Not porch, but the trim. And see how it just starts to age it a little bit? Up inside there for those little shadows. Actually, I want to tuck a little bit more color in here for a little shadow. So you can see how like some of those earlier colors that I put in there almost disappear, but you can see them in little bits here and there, and that's why they're so important. You leave a little bit showing, and it's kind of like building, well, it's very much like building flavor when you're cooking. You know, you have those underlying flavors that you put in there. They're not standouts, but they're there and they serve a purpose. There we go. I'm going to go right up underneath here, get nice and dark. And I may come back and do a little more touch up on these things later too, once I start adding like that blue in there. You might see me come back and do a little bit. We'll see. Now I'm going to add this very sparingly up the edge. And then right on that corner, literally just tapping down and then pulling up as I go toward me. And it kind of gives that, it just gives a little more definition there. I'm going to leave E44 for last. I'm going to come back to that later. Right now I'm going to move on to my blues because I want to get that trimmed, so that's going to help to balance out my color a little bit, because right now it's really strong on that brown trim, and then I have that really light plaid back there. So now I want to balance my color a little bit before I do too much more. And I also want to do the door frame in blue because the door is so close to that frame right there. I want to get this in blue first before I do the door in the brown, just in case I make a mistake. There we go. So let me get all that in there. This is B91. I'm literally just going all around the frame. The outer frame too. I don't mean that little inner frame around the windows. It's the outer around it. Now this one doesn't have the two, layers around it. Now I'm going to go up to these little shingles. And I'm just going to start up at the top of each one, and I'm just going to pull my color through. And I'm lifting as I'm pulling it toward me, so I'm not getting the color all the way, you know, to the end. It's leaving like a little highlighted area. It's going to be darker where I touch the marker down. So I lay it flat, pull it back, and lift. So you get that little bit of blue. Isn't that pretty? I think it's so cute. I love seeing the plaid through the color. I think it's just gorgeous. So that was B91. Now we're going to go on to B93. And I am going to just kind of go over the entire blue again on this door, except for up here. I want to leave a little bit of highlight in the center. But for the rest of it, I just want it nice and dark. Any questions, Alan? Okay. Now I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to pull back as far. So it's going to get darker right in the areas where they kind of come together, where, you know, the shingles kind of lay over one another. We'll see how it looks. I may end up putting some of the light blue back in. We'll see how it looks when we're done. There we go. And then B34 is a really dark color. Now, this is where I am going to leave some of that lighter shade of blue kind of in the center, just for a little bit of highlight. I can bring that together a little bit when I use my next color, or when I come back. I'll actually go down a color. Get some of the corners. I like the corners to be darker. I think it's really pretty that way. So I literally just kind of flick in towards each corner a bit, or actually in from each corner, I should say. And it creates that little bit of highlight. It's really easy. Now I'm going to go very, very gently with the tip here and just bring in a little bit. See how much darker it gets up at the top? I'm barely touching down. And one thing, I mean, I'm not using a Copic friendly paper here, so you know, these markers could bleed very easily if I'm not careful, if I put too much ink down. So I'm not resting my marker down for very long. It's literally a tap down, and then I pull it back and lift up. It's like a little backwards flick. There we go. It's so pretty. All right, I'm going to go back to B91, and it's my lightest, and I'm just going to come back over just to kind of strengthen some of that highlight. I have a little more white up in here than I want, so I am going to pull a little bit of blue through. You know, you kind of see it once you kind of step back and look at it. I think that looks really pretty. Really nice. I like it. Okay, so now I'm going to finish up. I'm going to go back to my door, and I'm going to climb up through the colors again. So I have E30, and I'm actually going to cover this entire door with this, with 30. Let's see. E31. Just going to push my color up. And now I'm actually resting my marker down more on the side than the tip. All right. Make it a little bit of color around this doorknob. Just around the outside. I'm going to leave the center of it brighter. Make it a little bit of color on this window here. Keep it light. I don't want to go dark with that. Oops, wrong one. Now we go to E33 or 33. And I'm kind of going to do the same thing, but I'm not going to come in as far. I am resting with the side. So you're fine. He likes watching me color, I guess. And then 43, just a little bit. We don't want a lot. That's going to be kind of around the edges, around that door knob there. Give some definition there. There we go. This is 43. I'm going to deepen this around here a bit because I think it'll look prettier with a little bit of age. There we go. Now I am going to go back to my E30, see if I can move some of these lines a little bit, pull that through a bit. But remember, this isn't going to blend beautifully because I'm not working on Copic paper, okay? But I might be able to get a little more of a graduation color there. So it has kind of an aged look that I like. Now, I've got E44. Now I'm going to be very, very cautious with this one. This is where we're adding like deeper color. I'm actually going to come up into these little crevices, add a little bit there. I'm going to go right along the line here and go underneath with my darker color here with my E44. I'm going to go very, very lightly right along the line, that roof line, just to give it a little bit of shadow, a little more definition. E44, I'm going to get right up here in that blue, right where the colors are the darkest, right where they come together. Just kind of deepens the shadow, adds a little bit of age. At the base of that chimney, get a tiny little bit on that chimney, but not a lot. Just a little bit, because I want it, you know, it gets dirty over time, right? It ages. This is out in the woods or something, right? Just add a little bit of age. One of my favorite things to do when I'm coloring. Tiny little bit of depth here. Very, very light touch. I'm going to define the sides of the wooden detail here. See how that pops that side out? Just by making it darker like that. So pretty. There we go. This is the kind of stuff I could do all day. I love this. Now I'm going to go right along the line here where the house meets. Some of the darker in here. Just adding a little more detail. Age, depth, so pretty. There we go. Underneath that window a little bit. Okay, so we're almost done. Look how pretty that is. I'm actually going a lot darker with this one than I did originally. Now I'm going to pull in some of my grays. Okay, 7:49. We're going to be running over time today because I got a little lost in my coloring. So W1, this is a gray. I'm just going to bring in a little bit of color here. And it's just going to add a little bit of dimension. You can barely even see it, but it's there. adds a little edge. I'm going to come right down that edge there. All right. You put a little over here. All right. And now if you want to add a little bit more with your W3, but you want to be really careful with this one, you can add a little more shadow in there without going dark brown. Like so. I can even warm this up a tiny bit on the door. A little more. It just gives you a little more edge. I'll go back with a W1 on that because I think I got a little more than I wanted. So that'll help to push that color a bit. There you go. That's where I would probably call that done. So a little bit different than how I did it the first time, a little more dramatic with it, but that's how I would color it. Okay, so let's get the rest of my goodies out here. I'm going to use this one since I just colored that for you. And here's what I did. I went ahead and I used the outer die. Remember how we have 2 dies for the little house? I used the outer die just to cut a piece in white. And then I laid the house over it. And I chose a light yellow and a dark yellow. And I just kind of colored the windows, you know, lighter in the center, darker around the edges. I went with the inside the door too, just so like when it's cracked, it just kind of looks like the lights are on inside. All right. So I think that's kind of pretty. It gives kind of a glowing look to it. So that's what I did there. With my little garden friends, I stamped a whole bunch of things and colored them in. So I have all of these little, you know, pieces of, you know, either bushes or trees, and I have my little critters. I have 2 little birds, a couple of frogs, a snail, and the balloons. And then I showed you how I used that little, the fence die. So I cut that in white. And then I have, out of some green cardstock, I used one of my in the grass dies. This happens to be the one that, you know, has, looks like a hill. And I cut it, and then notice I have the same little cross stitch trim on it because I then cut it again. I trimmed it out using the same Slimline die for the floral foliage Slimline so that it would all line up. And I'm going to show you how that works. We're going to assemble at this point. We're going to hope it all comes together. I also have to stamp a sentiment. So first I'm going to lay things out. We're going to see how this goes. I'm going to lay it out without this piece. I don't think I need that piece to lay it out. But look how this fits on a Slimline. It actually fits. So this is what I'm thinking. I kind of plan this out in my head. I have this little piece of grass over here. And I'm thinking I'll have like this over here.
I think barely fits.
I think it's actually 3 1/4. So it fits. Barely fits. But
sizing it to make sure that fits.
Yeah. Yep, we did. You're right. We sized it to make sure it fits. You are correct. Correctamundo. So this is going to go here, something like this. I have all my little pieces here. Let's see. Here's my pieces. This one will go over here somewhere. I'm sure I can fit this thing. Let's say it goes behind it, maybe under there. I'm going to have some characters inside. Here's what I'm going to think. I'm going to put some characters in there, but I'm just going to think out loud here. If I put my frog here, this little one I want flying in. Actually, no. I'm going to put him, this is what I'll do. I'll put my frog over here and this little bird flying in, like he's flying in to see his friends. And I'll figure out where the other characters are going to go after that. So this is kind of what I'm thinking, which I think looks really cute. And I need a sentiment. So Alan, you want to go back out to camera too?
I would love to.
There we go. All right, so this is where we are. Let's see if I can get a sentiment out of my Garden's Edge Slimline. See if I can find one that's going to fit. You are absolutely wonderful. That one's too big. Sending hugs and kisses. One friend can change your whole life. That one's quite large. A friend like you is one of a kind. That actually fits really nice. I'm going to go with that one. That I think can fit here. All right, let me get my stamping tool out. My stamping platform. And move all my stuff over. See if I can put this back in here without everything falling. There we go. Okay, let's get everybody off of here. Everybody off the ride. All right. Everybody out of the pool. So let's get this straight. Is that straight? I think it's straight. Okay. Now, this is the first time I'm stamping it. Here's what I'm doing, just so you know. The first time I'm going to stamp with this one, so I like to rub my hand over it, just to, I don't know, it seems to stamp better. Condition it a little bit. So now I'm going to stamp with my Raven Hybrid ink. This I do want to stamp in black because I really want this to stand out nicely. Get this inked up nicely. Now, because it's a fresh, brand new stamp, it's passable. I might have to stamp it more than once. Oh, also got one of the new magnets there. I should have switched that out. These magnets are too high. I don't like them. It's stamped almost perfectly, but you know what? I'm going to give it one more. Alan, do you want to come on to camera 3? Give it one more just so it's really crisp. Oh, look how beautiful. A friend like you is one of a kind. That's really pretty. I love the font in this. I just think it's beautiful. Gorgeous. So let's set that aside, get it out of the way while it dries for a moment because I don't want to rub my hand over it. Been there, done that. Raise your hand if you've done that. Everybody raising their hand. All right, let's get that put away. Especially since I did 2 coats of the ink on it. It needs a moment, just a moment to itself. Okay. You know what? While this is actually, while this is drying, it doesn't take that long to dry. I'm sure it's dry, but I'm going to grab my cardstock and get this ready. I'm going to grab one of these Painted Garden papers. And actually, and I'm going to pick one out. See which one I want. Got green, pink, blue. Let's move these over here so I can see. Green, pink, blue, brown. See, there's that blue, but it's not quite as bright. It's a little more green than I want. Too much pink. Orange. Let's see what we got. Ooh, look at that bright blue. See how that one looks great with the blue. All right, we're going to go with that one. That one works. I think that looks really, really great, especially look at him with the bird and the pink. Yep, that's going to work. So we're going to go with that one. So I'm going to put the rest of this away. This is double-sided paper, so we have this beautiful blue on the background. If you just want to use that like as a sky, look how gorgeous that is as a sky. Oh my goodness, it even looks like it has clouds. That's so pretty. But I'm going to use it to get more color because I'm in a very colorful mood these days with all the flowers in the garden. Loving it. I'm going to go ahead and trim this out. Now this is a 4x9 and I need it to be 8.5 by 3.5. So I'm going to trim a 1/2 inch off of each side and hope I do it right. All right. Cross my fingers. Hope it fits. By George, I think it fits. Does it? Did I not trim it right? Nope, I didn't trim it right. I didn't trim it right. I didn't trim it right. It's too big. This is why you need to work with like the right size tool. This paper trimmer is not the right size tool for a bigger piece of paper because I don't have like that little arm that swings out to tell me if it's the right size, and I rely on that little arm. Okay, that looks good. I was only off by like a 1/16 of an inch, but that little 1/16 of an inch is enough to make me bonkers. Okay, so I'm going to put my card base aside. I'm going to go ahead and mount this. See that pretty little flower that's going to show around the sides there? I just think it's gorgeous. Make sure this is all dry, and it is. So I'm going to go ahead and put my topper down on the little frame that I just made. Get that centered. Very pretty. Almost centered. Almost perfect. And all right, here's where we get to have a little bit of fun. I get to figure out who's going to go where. So with this, I think what I wanted to do, here's my other little frog. I think I want to put this little frog, he almost looks like he could be waving too. I think something's supposed to go in his hand, but we're going to go with waving. So I'm going to have him go like right here. I think I need to, all right, you don't yell at me. I'm going to be gruesome, and I'm going to cut his legs off. Cut his little feet off. Sorry.
You have to do that on camera.
She's mutilating the frog.
I know what we're having for dinner.
Frog's legs. Helen says, I know what we're having for dinner. That's just gross.
I would never eat that.
Oh, that was just awful. All right, and I'm laughing at it. All right, so I'm actually going to pop this up on some foam because I think it'll be really cute to have some dimension. So, oh my goodness, I'm losing this stuff. If you guys could see the way I have to sit to do this, you'd think I was crazy. Kind of funny. Let's see, there's nothing there, so put that there. I want a little piece at the bottom there, just for support. There we go. I'm also going to put a little piece on the side. Right here, just for a wee bit of support. And a little bit at the top there. Same thing, little support. All right, move these over. I just tend to have like a little garbage pile that goes up to the right because I'm right-handed. I always try not to get my little, ow! Oh my goodness, that paper went right up under my nail. Boy, did that ever hurt. Like the little corner of it as I'm tearing it off. Ow. All right, so let's put this on here. Do it this way.
Frog's legs are trending on.
Frog's legs are trending? Do we have some people who
love it?
Who love frog's legs?
Apparently. And snails.
Oh my goodness. I've been in those ponds. I have hunted frogs in those ponds. I've been in those. I can't eat what comes out of those. I just can't. All right, so there's our little frog. I don't know where anybody else is going to go yet. I think this guy's going to go in the doorway here, but we're going to see. So I'm going to start putting these on. Little house is up. I'm just going to put the adhesive in the center there so I can tuck things in if I need to. And a little bit of space. I'm going to put it right at the bottom of the white card base there. Look how gorgeous that fits. And then this I'm going to put right up here. So I need some foam on here. Foam on this side over here, it looks like. Let's see if that fits. It fits. We're actually going to have some of these elements kind of going off the card a little bit. And that's okay, as long as the foam doesn't go off the card, I think we're okay. Now, this is going to slide right in here. Oops, it's sticking and I don't want it to stick yet. So line that right up in the corner. And then I think I'm going to tuck. So I can't tuck that in too far. So I'm going to cut some of the edge off of that, I think. And that's going to tuck in just a little bit underneath that house. So let me get some tape on it, adhesive. I'm going to tuck that right there so it looks like more bushes. Very cute. All right, I'm really liking this a lot. There we go. That's always a mistake because then I have tape everywhere, but I'm going to fix it. I'm going to pull that tape around. Ah, I made a mess. Angie made a mess. Because I have tape in all the little holes now, but I'm... All right. Get the tape out of there. That was kind of like something I shouldn't have done. That's something I would do. That's the kind of stuff I do when I'm being impatient, and then I create a bigger mess for myself to clean up. That's where I'm at right now, a little bigger mess where I got tape all in all the little holes. I got to pull it all off to the side. Oopsie daisy. We'll make it work. Crafting requires patience. Okay. That looks terrible. Let me get all that tape out of there. I know I should have. That was just ridiculous. Now I'm going to make it worse. I'm knowingly making it worse now. Some little bits down. I know, I'm doing it still. I am. I'm just knowingly continuing. Knowingly continuing to make it worse.
Let's go.
All right, so this, I'm going to put this right up against the house here. Right down at the bottom. Look at that little fence. How cute! I do want a little piece of foam for this one. I'm just getting little pieces here that I have. Sandy is asking, does this card fit into your envelope die cut? It should. Yes, it will. Absolutely. All right, I need some foam for my little characters. Told you we were going to run over, so I'm very sorry. I need one for my bird. He's like ever so important because I need him up in the corner because he's flying in. He's flying in for a visit. Let's see. Where's this gonna go? Oh, that looks, doesn't, right where it landed, it's super cute. Oy vey. Okay, put him down. He's on the ground. Can't get that off of there. And then he's got that. Like he's got the little balloon. He's trying to give it to his friend. A little bit more foam. I think this is shaping up to be a super duper cute card. And once you have like all your elements, it's really easy to just kind of start assembling it. And that's really kind of where a lot of the fun is. So he's here, he's looking out at his friend. We have a little snail. We gotta get that little snail in there. Where's he gonna go? I'm gonna put him on the fence, I think. He's on the fence about the whole thing. Seriously. Here we go. Look how cute. I do have a cloud if I wanted to put this cloud in. I just happen to have that extra, but I think that's gonna be maybe too much. How's that with the cloud there? Cloud needed? Actually, I like the cloud. So we're gonna do the cloud. That's from our In a Cloudy Sky set. This was actually just in a little set that I had where I had some extra pieces and I just kind of kept them in a little container. But I think it works. I do have these other little pieces of greenery. If I wanted to extend that a little bit, I could, but actually it looks really cute, so we're gonna do it. These are from the same stamp set. Just put that there. Just adds a little something, something. Oh my gosh! It doesn't get any cuter than that. These extra little pieces I don't even think I need. So we're just gonna put those aside. And the last thing we have to do then is attach this to our card base. I love building scenes. I absolutely love building scene cards. I think they're so fun. I mean, I love flowers too. Boy, this is like everything. If I can combine a scene with flowers, then that just beats everything. There we go. So there it is, and we're done. And yes, this will fit into the envelope die. Look how cute that is. I think it's just adorable. And I love how that paper just trims it. I mean, it just, you know that they're in a beautiful garden at this point, a beautiful flower garden. I absolutely love it. A friend like you is one of a kind. How pretty. How pretty. I just love it. Okay. So, Mr. Hunt, you want to go to camera one? My gosh, it's 8:15. I am so sorry. Here's our card. I think it's really pretty. I hope you like it. I really do. I love it. I think it turned out really cute. Yay! It's always fun when a plan, you know, something that was in your mind actually works out. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope I didn't keep you too long, but I really wanted to color that up for you, and I wanted to show you how you don't have to color the house, because I know when people look at things like a house, even if it's a smaller birdhouse, sometimes people look at it and they're very intimidated by it, and you don't need to be. So stamping it on a piece of pattern paper first makes it really, really easy. All I did was spend a little bit of time coloring out the trim and just making the trim pieces pop out on it, and you know, the rest of the work was done with the pattern paper, so it was really, really easy to do. So anyway, it is time for a giveaway, and the giveaway is going to be the Birdhouse. That was our feature today. The Birdhouse, where's the die? The Birdhouse stamp and die set. So the combination of the two, the stamp and the coordinating die set, that is the giveaway. So hopefully you got a comment out there, like I mentioned earlier, because Alan has already drawn a name. And the name is, the winner is, drum roll, Pamela R. I don't have a last name. It just says Pamela R. So Pamela, congratulations. You are tonight's winner. Thank you so much for joining us and for playing along. All we need you to do to claim your prize is to send an email to customerservice@ldrscreative.com. I need your name. I need your complete mailing address. And once we have that, we will be able to get these in the mail to you. So congratulations, Pamela. You are the winner tonight. Yay! All right, everybody, that is it for tonight. I will be back next week, and we will have a sneak peek for HSN, because that show's coming up on July 13th, and I can't wait. We've got some really, really cool things for you. including a new pocket pail. So I will tell you that. That is one thing I will give away right now. So everybody, thank you so much for joining us. Have a wonderful evening, and I will see you next week. Bye for now.